Hi guys, welcome back to HHG Studios. Gardening can be great exercise, and today we're going to be looking at how we can incorporate an exercise routine into our gardening. If you're like me, you like raking, and I find that raking is really great exercise for the arms and also for the core. What is important is that as you do this exercise, you stretch as far as possible with the rake, bring it in, and at the same time you're pulling in on your tummy. So here we go. Stretch as far as possible. And then we do the same thing on the other side. I'm trying hard to pull in my tummy now. And if you want to, you can actually do, say, 10 on one side if you prefer to count, and then 10 on the other side. That wasn't 10, but you know what I mean. As you do this, you're pulling on your tummy. The exercises are good for your arms, and it's really just great all over. Okay, our next routine is for the thighs and butt. And I'm going to be joined by my friend and neighbor, Avia, who is also an avid gardener. Ready, Avia? All right, so we're going to do this pick up. We have scattered out back the trash, and we're going to pick up, but we're going to squat while picking up. So you're going to keep your back as straight as possible, and you bend at the knees and pick up. Avia is doing the one where she moves. Yeah, you can move and do it. Remember to keep the back as straight as possible. You should be feeling it here. You feeling it, Avia?
Oh yes. Very much so.
Yeah. And then we could do the one, Avia, where, let's scatter back. And we could do the crab walk. All right, you want me to go first? All right. So your legs are together and you move one out. While it's out, you pick up, keep the back as straight as possible still. Then you pull the foot in to meet the other one. Bend. You should be feeling it here. I'm feeling it.
Right
And
here.
then let's go back this way since we're going to bump into each other. This is for when there's not too much trash, so you don't need to rake. You could just pick up. All right, Avia is back and she's going to show how you can use the garden scissors to just trim the edges, and that of course is good exercise for the arms and also the legs. Notice the arm movements, good exercises for the arms. Feeling it, Avia?
Oh yes. I can feel the burn.
Feel the burn.
There you go.
Okay. Now she's gonna trim a sage into shape, and it's the same arm movements.
Can you see it rounded?
Yes. See it? I see the arms getting toned, Miss Avia.
Hot too.
All right. There we go. It's great to have a neighbor who also loves gardening, because there's so much you can do together. Pruning is very beneficial to plants. And what we're going to do next is some pruning. And this, while pruning, we're going to be stretching as much as possible. And this is good for the entire body. It's for the arms and the back and the core and the sides and the legs, everything. So here we go. Instead of going close to what you want to cut off, you actually stretch as much as possible and pull it towards you, then you cut. See? Let me get this spent heliconia. Stretch as much as possible. One more time. Let's do it from the other side, because you want to be balancing it out. Stretch and cut. And that's good for the entire body. It's good to finish with that, because usually when you're doing exercises, you stretch at the end. So pruning might be one of the last things you do. Of course, you'll have the leaves to pick up after. After my gardening exercises each morning, I usually walk around my lot. I live in a very small lot, but I've managed to fit in a number of fruit trees which are producing constantly. So I'm able to pick fruits in the mornings, which I can have. I'm going to show you around, and I'm going to start with my banana patch, which is just a very small patch. It's probably about 10 feet wide. By deepest point is probably about 3 or 4 feet. But I always have bananas here, bananas or plantains or both. This is one that's right there. And most times I have 2 or 3. We're gonna focus on. Here's one of the bananas. Also have another bunch over here. You're coming through what I call my natural gate, because it hides all the things I have around here. This is really my utility area. But here's this other banana bunch, nice bunch. This should be ready, starting to ripen maybe by about in another week. This bunch was falling down and we had to cut it. And I would just want you to see how my gardener did this, where he had 2 short sticks and he joined them using a piece of PVC pipe, which I think is such a good idea. He's very good with those things. I'll show you my planting, which blew down with Hurricane Ida or Grace recently. I can't remember which, but it blew down just a few days after my neighbors and I had counted all 12 fingers. So what I did, I left it on the ground and it was there for a few weeks. And I figured because it has, it's still attached in a way to the trunk, it might get some nutrients. They were not ready at the time. So I left them there on the ground, on top of that pot. And last week I was able to cut them and share. There were 12 fingers and it was so good that we hadn't lost everything. I remember, you remember our grandparents used to say, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Well, that's what happened with this, because we're just counting the fingers. And by a few days later, they had blown down. Here's the other side of my garden. And I also have a number of fruit trees here. This is a pomegranate. Needs a little cutting back now. A custard apple. In fact, I have 2 custard apples. Because they're small trunks, I'm not afraid of planting them close to the house. This is my guava, which has been giving me a lot of guavas. Oh, in fact, here's a ripe one. Ready to be picked. There's another one up there. I've got a lot of guavas this time from this. This is my Nesberry, which is supposed to be a miniature. When I got it I got it as a gift from the St. Catherine or Horticultural Society, and it was about 2 feet, 2.5 feet tall, and it already had fruits. It has not stopped bearing since then. It bears continually. It's the most kind tree I've ever seen. So they're at different sizes. They're different sizes, and as those are getting ready to ripen, there are small ones coming out. Fabulous tree. This is my mulberry bush, and each morning I'm able to pick some berries. I wait until they get really black, and they're very sweet then. And usually I get about a handful of mulberries. Here's the other custard apple. There's a moringa tree in the middle, which I cut back constantly because that has a thick trunk. So I cut it back maybe every 2 or 3 months. And then here's an ackee tree, which was just planted about maybe 4 years ago, and it started bearing this year. Come and look. I actually have ackees that are opening. There you go. And it has some younger ones on it. I know I'm talking about trees, but I can't help but show you my shade vanda, which is blooming for the first time. I've had it for about 2 years. And you know how when you love orchids, you get so excited when they bloom. I just love it. Here's my Julie mango tree. I had a big enough side here or corner here, so I put in a Julie mango tree, which has been bearing and giving a lot of fruits, especially in the summer. It's empty now. I was able to cut the middle out to let some light in, and it will come back next year with more fruits. In the meantime, I've hung falls on it because they like the semi-shade, and we'll come back when these are in bloom later on this year. This one is really big. I'm in the front now, and I have a few more fruit trees here. There's this lime which I planted about 1.5 years ago. It's in a kind of a shaded spot, but it has been growing, and that's all the space I had left. The worms seem to like the leaves, so it needs to be sprayed. And then I have these 2 lazy sweetstop trees which barely give me any fruits. But if you know how to get them to bear more, please leave a comment below. I see one single one up here. If I want the sweetsop to hear or not, but the soursop beside it bears profusely. In fact, look at this very big one. I'm gonna check to see if it's ready. This one isn't quite ready yet, even though it's so big. But I find with soursops, you need to allow them to start ripening on the tree. Otherwise, they just harden and you get nothing from them. So this tree has several on them. Did you hear that, sweetsop? Of course, you know, you can use the leaves for tea. Very good for you. And the naseberry hangs over a little bit outside of my fence here, loaded with naseberries, of course. Okay, you can see how I've used up my space. And I have a small trellis in front of the house, and I've actually put a grapevine on it. It has quite a bit of grapes now. At this time of year, they're ripening and it's gonna dry down soon. And each morning I can actually come out here and pick grapes. This one is ready, I think. I tried to find the stem. Again, when they're dark is best. Let me see. They need to be very dark and then they're sweet. A lot of dark, ripe ones are up in the top, but I usually need a ladder to pick those. So those will be picked later. Thanks so much for visiting me today. I hope you have been inspired. And if you haven't done so yet, you'll be planting more trees. Please remember to subscribe and click on the notification bell below so you'll know as soon as we have uploaded a new video. Until next time, walk good.